There are some YouTubers who burn bright and disappear fast. And then there are YouTubers who spend over a decade building something real. Something that millions of kids grew up watching, only to tear it apart with their own hands. Jordi van den Bussche, aka Kwebbelkop, did exactly that. For years, he was one of the most consistent creators on the entire platform, having over 50 million subscribers, 7 billion views, and a decade of uploading every single day without fail. By every metric that matters on YouTube, he had made it. And then he just decided to replace himself with AI? What followed was a slow and painful process that turned one of YouTube's most beloved gaming creators into one of its most hated.
I'm going to be reacting to Jordi, aka Kwebbelkop, who has decided to stop daily uploading.
In 2012, I started this beautiful journey on YouTube where
2012,
I decided to upload
that's
YouTube
really
videos
long.
every single day. Now,
And he hasn't missed a day since, guys. It's
10
nuts.
years later,
10
and
years.
I've still uploaded a video every single day.
Today, we're looking at the full story of Kwebbelkop, how he built his empire, how personal tragedies started cracking the foundation, and how an obsession with artificial intelligence ended up destroying everything. But before that, it's your boy Prince. I would appreciate if you guys could like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are targeting to hit 1,000 subs before July. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and let me know your guys' opinions of Kwebbelkop in the comments down below. Jordi Maxime van den Bussche came from Amsterdam, and the story of success starts with a kid that didn't really have many friends and didn't get involved with a lot of activities outside the house. But he had video games, and eventually he had YouTube. In April 2008, at 13 years old, Jordi created his YouTube channel, but he didn't actually upload anything until May 2011, when he uploaded his very first video, a Call of Duty Black Ops gameplay clip. Nothing fancy, nothing polished, just a kid playing a game and talking over it.
Today we're checking out the ultimate video game battles in real life. These guys have got themselves some sticks of chalk, and it's a team of 6 versus 6. The rules are very simple. You draw whatever you want, and that is the video game weapon you get.
He stopped uploading shortly after that. His new computer had shown up with broken components, and it took him a while to get back on his feet. But once he did, around 2012, he started uploading every single day, and that's when things started moving. By June 2013, on his 18th birthday, Jordi hit 10,000 subscribers. That same year, he graduated college, took one look at what YouTube was becoming, and made the call. He went full time. It wasn't until the next year that the whole thing started to seem like it would work. Jordi linked up with 2 other Dutch and British gaming YouTubers, Jelle van de Vlucht, who everyone knew as Jelly, and Joshua Temple, known as Slogo. Together, the 3 of them formed a group called Robust. On paper, it was simple. 3 guys playing video games together, doing challenges, cracking jokes, but the chemistry was undeniable. Their videos were genuinely fun to watch, and their audience knew it. Jordi's channel exploded. GTA 5 became his bread and butter. He'd upload challenges, pranks, in-game funny moments, all of it. The format was simple, but he had something that couldn't really be taught. His energy was natural, he wasn't forcing it, and kids loved him for it.
I can't believe this is happening.
Finally.
Have
After
you
all
seen
this
the-
time.
Have you seen the title of the playlist, bro?
Squash the beef. Let's go.
Okay.
All right, Jelly. Thank you.
Yo, what am I driving,
Okay.
bro? What is this?
Why am I
What am I
freaking
driving?
orange? This is like I'm getting punished by the universe.
By 2017, Kwebbelkop was pulling in roughly 100 million views per month. That was the norm. He had become one of the most watched gaming YouTubers on the planet. But 2017 was also the year when the cracks started forming. In February of that year, Jordi uploaded a video titled Rip Dad. His father, Ben, had passed away from a brain disorder. The grief didn't go away, it lingered, and it started affecting the people around him too. Jordi had been dating fellow YouTuber Aziland since 2016. They were one of those couples that the YouTube community actually rooted for. They promoted each other's work, and they showed up in each other's videos. It seemed solid. But by early 2020 it was over. Jordi confirmed the breakup and he kept it respectful. But in a separate post he was brutally honest with himself, calling himself a trash human being and saying he wasn't good enough for her.
When we met each other, we fell in love, and it was a long-distance relationship. You don't choose who you fall in love with, and it was the first time in life that I actually fell in love with a girl. So we tried making it work. She was in love with me, I was in love with her, and for the longest time, things went great. But once reality kicked in, once the honeymoon phase was over, we realized that we're 2 people from completely different places. I wasn't ready for certain things and I wanted different things in life. And she wasn't ready for certain things and wanted different things in life. We were simply not a match.
And around that same time, something else started crumbling. Jordi began pulling back from Robust. He uploaded a video explaining why. No shots fired at Jelly or Slogo, he was straightforward about it. The creative repetition of making the same kind of group videos over and over again had started to suffocate him. And on top of that, he'd been struggling with depression, something he never talked about publicly before. He said it was holding the group back, because he couldn't bring the energy they needed to make those videos work.
That I'm waking up every day, loving every single moment of it. Well, sometimes I don't, but I try to live the best life possible. Now, during my depression, I was still recording with Jelly and Slogoman, and I started to see that I was just having a really, really hard time keeping up with these guys. I was having a really hard time recording these videos, and I noticed that I had to put YouTube to the side a little bit so I could fully focus on my own mental health, on my own well-being, and that's what I started doing.
Instead of a clean break, it just kind of faded. He showed up for fewer and fewer recordings. Eventually, Craner replaced him. Robust kept going without him. Jordi was on his own, and his channel was about to find out what it actually meant. Without the group, the numbers started telling a different story. The 100 million views a month that had been a routine started dropping fast. In 2020, he started working with a guy named Hassan, and together they built a channel called Tiger. Hassan was the face of it. Jordi handled the back end, the coaching, the growth strategy, and it worked initially. Tiger went from pulling 2 million views a month to 20 almost overnight. But then Hassan stopped uploading. 2 months of silence, and when he came back, it wasn't on Tiger. He uploaded a video on a new channel called Liger, and in it he explained that he and Jordi are no longer friends. He said he felt hurt, disappointed and forgotten. The details of what exactly went wrong between them stayed mostly private, but the fallout was public.
And then I just hear Hassan over it. He was just yelling. He's like, come over here. I go over, and the guy just starts yelling at me. And there's like 7, 8 people in the office. He's just yelling, you're trying to fuck me over. What the fuck is this?
Kwebbelkop said that.
Kwebbelkop said that to me. Yeah. And in my head, I was like, why are you doing this in front of everyone? You could have just, came into my little studio. We could have talked about this. Normally, you don't have to shout at me.
The thing is that this was just beyond the personal conflict. It was something Jordi discovered during it. He had cloned Hassan's voice, put it on an AI character, and attached it to the Tiger channel. Hassan found out. He called Jordi out publicly, saying the cartoon version of him might be Jordi's best friend, but he wasn't. It was a small moment, but looking back, it was the first sign of where Jordi's mind was already going. He had figured out that he could use AI to replicate a person, and that idea didn't leave him. By mid-2021, Jordi's monthly viewership on the main channel had collapsed by roughly 90% from its peak. He was somewhere between 5 and 20 million views a month. It seemed like the algorithm wasn't interested in him the way it used to be. Without the group dynamic, without the chemistry that had made his content stand out, he was just another solo gaming YouTuber. So he started looking for a way out, and the first one he landed on was a thing he called Bloo. In 2021, Jordi launched a VTuber channel called Bloo, a blue-haired virtual character that would play games and make content, entirely without Jordi appearing on camera. So he can upload every day without a human body breaking down from the pressure of it. The channel launched in May 2021 and immediately started pulling 4 million views a month. By late 2021, Blue had around 200,000 subscribers. Jordi said publicly that if Blue's revenue surpassed his main channels, he planned to retire Kwebbelkop entirely.
Oh yeah, this $100 car is insane. Amy, look at this. Whoa.
And listen, it could have worked. Blue actually grew and it kept climbing. Eventually hit 2.5 million subscribers and over 700 million views. By 2025, it had reportedly brought in over $1 million in revenue. As a business experiment, it generally worked. But that channel wasn't the problem. Blue was always a separate thing. The problem was what Jordi decided to do with the Kwebbelkop channel. On August 1st, 2023, Jordi uploaded a video to his main channel titled Minecraft, but you only get one block. And what would this fan see? In his place was a 3D animated avatar, a cartoon version of himself, with a really weird AI generated voice.
Get me, but you can also go in because then we can stop.
Designed to mimic how he talked. In an interview with Wired around the same time, he said his entire business model would stop every time he wanted to take a holiday. or needed time for himself. The AI, in his mind, was the fix. He could keep the channel alive without being there. The response from the audience wasn't any good. Overall, people said there wasn't a single good argument for having AI replace YouTubers, and that the only real motivation behind it was easy money. When you get that kind of unified backlash from your own community, from your former collaborators, and from some of the biggest channels on the platform, most people take a step back, reassess, and maybe quietly drop the whole thing and pretend like it never happened. But Jordi did something different. He uploaded a video called The End of Kwebbelkop AI, and we all fell for the clickbait. Because despite the title, the entire video was a setup. The person on camera who was talking, was apologizing, was saying he made a mistake by releasing the AI too early, all of it was AI. The Kwebbelkop you're seeing on the screen right now is not him. At least the human version of him. He called it Kwebbelkop AI 2.0.
Every second you've been watching of this video so far has been completely AI generated. The Kwebbelkop you're seeing on the screen right now is not really me.
And in the comments, the people were really mad about it. Did that stop him? No, of course not. In 2024, Jordi had also launched a dedicated channel called Kwebbelkop AI. This one was at least honest about what it was. But even with full transparency, the channel didn't perform. Videos were pulling in only a few thousand views each. The occasional short did slightly better, but nothing came anywhere close to what the main channel used to do. And then on February 7th, 2025, the Kwebbelkop AI channel was banned from YouTube entirely. Jordi pushed back against the narrative that YouTube was cracking down on AI broadly. He posted on Twitter that the platform was actually pro-AI and was only targeting low-quality spam content. He said YouTube would continue to innovate and support AI creators, but the ban still happened, and it still mattered. Meanwhile, the AI content kept spreading across his other platforms. On TikTok, where Jordi had over 3.2 million followers, he started posting short clips of the AI version of himself reacting to AI-generated videos. Yeah, AI commentary reacting to AI visuals. And as you can guess, the pattern in these clips became almost absurdly predictable. Nearly every single one started with the same word, whoa or wow, over and over again. The same inflection, the same tone. People started clipping it specifically to point out how robotic and repetitive it was. All the people were mocking it. The thing that blows my mind is that Jordi was completely aware of all of it. He knew the videos were being laughed at. He knew the comments were tearing him apart. He started intentionally commenting on his own videos with the simple things like, whoa, with a question mark, as if he was playing along with the joke himself. But he kept doing that. Some people theorized that this was actually the strategy, that Jordi was manufacturing controversy deliberately, because the negative attention was still attention. That he was basically creating AI content people hated on purpose, so that when he eventually came back as himself, the audience would feel relief. A genius hacking the algorithm, maybe. But if that was the plan, it required him to keep posting content that actively destroyed his own reputation for months. And the numbers suggest it wasn't working the way he wanted. On YouTube, his main channel's estimated monthly earnings had dropped to somewhere between 1,000 and 1,300 by late 2025. For a channel with 50 million subscribers, that number is staggering. His engagement rate was classified as low compared to similar channels. Subscriber growth was essentially zero. The only videos on the main channel that were actually performing were the ones where the real Jordi would show up. A collaboration with Jelly pulled in around 400,000 views. That's more than most of his AI uploads managed in weeks. Then, Jordi announced on Twitter that he was going to return to making real gaming videos, aiming for one per week. He said Robust Reacts, a channel he'd started with Jelly in September 2024, would also pick back up. And he acknowledged that Kwebbelkop AI would continue, but it wouldn't be replacing him. It would just be extra content. It was the closest thing to admission that the AI experiment hadn't worked the way he hoped. But even with that, the damage had already been done. The channel description on Kwebbelkop now includes a disclaimer that reads, "Some of the videos on this channel are made with AI." That sentence would have been unimaginable 5 years ago. There's also something worth noting about the brand deals. Even during the worst of the AI controversy, Jordi was still landing sponsorships, gaining a MetaQuest deal, an Emirates deal, both within the last few months of 2024. Which means that to certain brands, the controversy didn't matter. What mattered was the sub count on paper, not what was actually happening with the audience behind it. That disconnect between the number on the screen and the actual human engagement underneath it is maybe the most uncomfortable part of the whole story. As of early 2026, The Kwebbelkop channel still has 15 million subscribers, but subscribers are just a number. They don't tell you how many people are actually watching. They don't tell you how many people actually care. The views tell you that, and the views have told a very clear story for the better part of 3 years now. And sure, AI is going to keep getting more accessible and more creators are going to start using it. But what Jordi proved more clearly than anyone else on this platform is that the future doesn't mean anything if you lose the one thing that made people show up in the first place. And that thing was never the technology, it was him.